fundamentally, and I feel like I say this a lot on this podcast, I did not care. I did not care what happened to any of the characters.
Really?
And
really?
Yes, really. Really didn't give a shit.
Okay, well, I'm going to bring some characters up and you're going to tell me you didn't care about this.
Yeah.
When her mother Mary was crucified and a fire
That's
was
the
burning
only
her-
bit. That's
you
the
didn't
only
care.
bit, but that's like 20 minutes into the film.
And she's being forced to watch that. You didn't care.
That's the only bit.
Okay, next one. When the little war boy who was really excited about the Nocky Bobbler or whatever
No,
it was
I didn't
called.
care.
You didn't care that he was shot in the head?
Not really.
He didn't even get to press the button. That was all he wanted to do. The Bobby
Not really.
knocker.
I didn't feel like I'd had enough time to like connect with him at all. I thought he was just suddenly there, and I was a bit like, okay, there's this kid, and then he died.
I was trying to find that kid's name because I know that I've seen him in something before, and I thought he was really good, and he's British, and so I was trying to like find his name. I'll find you later. Okay, you didn't care about that. You don't care about children getting shot in the head. Cool.
I care about children actually getting shot in the head.
What
but not in this
about
film.
when Praetorian Jack was dragged around by his hands until he died and dogs ate him and she was being forced to watch?
No, because what you're doing here, see what I think you're doing here is you're listing, you're listing unpleasant things happening to characters. Which,
to good characters,
right?
not bad.
Yeah, but like you're listing unpleasant things that happen to like good characters, right?
Uh-huh.
But that doesn't automatically mean that I'm going to care about it. I can watch it and go, oh, that's grisly, like, or oh, but like, to emotionally connect with the characters, I need them to give me something, and
so you had that with the mum.
I had it with the. I think just because I think did I even have it with the mum? A little bit.
Do you know what then maybe I think it is like you're right, that is what I'm doing, because in my head I guess maybe it's pretty binary of like this is a goodie, this is a baddie, and then there's a goodie is they've died a really bad way and that's really sad. I think maybe my brain is that simple sometimes when I watch films, but I think maybe like you're saying that you know that connection that you have to it, like yeah, maybe that is something more for me, because it was, I think maybe I'm saying maybe a lot. I think the experience of watching Furiosa's origin story as a man and then as a woman must be different experiences, because like, and I don't mean to say that to be like you're not capable of feeling the things that this film wants you to feel, but more like I think most women who of the age that Anya Taylor-Joy is in, like I think it's called Homeward, like the 3rd chapter or something, have had that experience where you have you meet a new kind of male figure of guidance in your life, and you're like arm's length for a long time. You're like, I don't know if I trust you, I don't know if you trust you, remember. And then eventually you're like, okay, yeah, no, I can trust you. Here is my peach pit. Come to the green land of the motherland, or whatever it's called. And so like that moment is like, oh my God, okay, finally she's a bit safe and she's probably gonna get home and she's safe with this man. She's found home with this man. So that, for me, I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, but for me...
And I loved Praetorian Jack.
For me, that all happened so quickly.
Oh, you felt there was no
his
build.
arc,
Yeah,
his
yeah,
arc,
yeah.
There was no build to that. I think
Yeah.
if I'd have been introduced to him much earlier in the story, and then I think it would have. But for me, it was almost like he invites her on his rig, and then 20 minutes later he's being dragged around and it might not have been 20 minutes, but like 20 minutes later he's being dragged around the desert by Chris Hemsworth, and I was a bit like, I haven't had time to invest in that. For me, it jumped from her not really trusting him to quick montage to, now I'll show you my peach pit. And that's, I think, where I could have done with more of the character stuff. Like, because that's when like I then couldn't really get invested and care.
Right.
I cared about Furiosa to a point. I think especially when she's a child, and there's lots of like there's lots of sort of horrible. I mean, she's in horrible situations the whole film, but there's lots of horrible situations. There's a bit where one of the I can't remember if it's a rictus erectus or scrotus that takes her off.
I think it's rictus.
That bit gives you kind of the shivers a little bit, and that's kind of like viscerally sort of horrible, and there's lots of like sort of viscerally horrible things in it.
But that makes you nervous because I think there's so much really grotesque, like not shying away from violence kind of moments in this film, that when he takes her as a child to rape her, I think you as an audience member are like, are you going to make us watch this? Is this actually what's going to happen? And yeah, so it's that moment of like, oh, spare us. That actor, I think if it was Rictus, which I think it was that was who I was talking about earlier, Nathan Jones, got a lot of hate messages for that scene. And he had to do like social media posts being like, I'll thank you to differentiate between fiction and reality. He didn't say it like that. He wrote like a good message, but like, yeah, he had to put a shout out to be like, I am an actor and I just have to do what the script and the director say.
I've seen that before, like...
what's wrong with people?
On a sort of weirdly like different example, but like apparently like it happens really badly to soap actors.
Yeah.
Because they're on people's TVs all the time.
I think Ian Beale got a bit of that.
And people and I say like if a character's like murdered someone in a soap or something, because I guess people watch soaps like, I don't know, is it like 2-3 times a week and they're watching it for years, they almost feel like they know these people and they forget that it's an actor playing this. And then so if they're on the street, sometimes they'll get abuse for things their character has done in the soap, which boggles the mind.
I mean, we can sit here and we can make jokes and be like, how many times a week do you have to watch something before you lose all sense of like intelligence and thinking that it's real and it's not a soap opera anymore? But like, I guess the truth is that, yeah, there are many members of the general public who don't have the faculties maybe to differentiate between reality and fiction, and that is quite a scary place to live because you must genuinely believe you're consuming all of these very dark things in pop culture for real. But and there's been a few crimes like that, right, where people who are psychologically unstable have committed crimes against celebrities or mimicking, villains and they think it's real. Yeah, that's kind of scary.
But to sort of flash back to where we were with Furiosa, yeah, I just think fundamentally I struggle to emotionally. I wonder if it's because the film's also so cartoonish. It's so like ultra stylized. It's so comic booky, kind of cartoony. You've got the sort of ridiculous names for characters. Chris Hemsworth is wearing like this prosthetic nose that kind of looks a bit silly.
It looks so
lots
bad.
of the characters look silly. You've got the guy with, and then kind of grotesque at the same time, and I think that's what they're going for. But the guy with the cutouts, and he keeps touching his nipples through the cutouts of his. Did you not notice that? The guy with the gold nose thing, he had cutouts where his nipples are, and he keeps touching his nipples.
Joe's aide, basically, and he's the guy that at the end Furiosa teams up with to be like, let's not fall into Dementus's trap. Let's lead an offence.
Yeah, he keeps touching his nipples.
I literally did not. In my head, he's wearing a suit.
He's wearing a suit. He is wearing a suit, but where his nipples are is cut out, and he keeps touching them.